My name is Venati Sudhakar. I am working as an assistant professor in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering and CSE department. Today, we are going to discuss about Python language and introduction about the Python language. So the agenda for today is we are going to discuss about the programming language and Python programming language introduction, history, and the market who are using the Python, and what is the feature of the Python and features of the Python, working with Python. There are two different modes, interactive mode and script mode like that. So working with Python, installing, and some sample programs. This is agenda for today. Now we are moving on to next slide. Programming languages. Before learning any programming language, whether it is C, Java, or Python, or whatever it may be, any programming language, first we need to know what is programming language and what is program and what is language. If you have a clarity about these things, so it will become a little bit easy to understand the programming language. So that's why I'm starting with the programming language concept. So what is the programming language? Before understanding the programming language, first we understand the language. What is the purpose of language? For communication. We can say that language is a tool for communicating with each other, to exchange the ideas. To exchange our ideas with others, we can use the language. That is purpose of the language. Similarly, programming language means to communicate with the computer, to make the computer work, we need a language. That language is called the programming language. That language is called the programming language. So why we need to communicate with the computer and why we need to make a computer to work for us? So an important aspect to understand, because computers can work more time without any tiredness when comparing with the human beings, and computers can work without very limited number of errors when comparing with the humans, and a computer can work at high fast when comparing with the human beings. Because of these three advantages, we are using computers in our life. So to produce better results in a short time, to produce better results in a short time. But that is the purpose of the computer we are using in our day-to-day life. So we are living in such a situation. So we need a language to instruct or to communicate with the computer. So that language we are calling as a programming language. So how we instruct or how we provide the instructions to the computer means, so already we discussed that we are using the programming language like that. So we provide some instructions. So based on those instructions, computer works. So the sequence of such type of instructions to accomplish a task or tasks is called program generally. So such a language is called a programming language. For examples for the programming language, C, C++, Python, ABC, Module 3, Smalltalk, Unix, etc. So there are many languages are there. Java is there, VB is there, C# is there, J# is there. So many languages are there like that. And today we are going to discuss about the Python. This is the programming language. So if you see the programming language, so these many languages are classified into three different groups. That is called the classification of the programming languages. Low-level programming languages, middle-level programming languages, and high-level programming languages. These are the three classifications in programming languages. See the diagram. Programming language, low-level language, middle-level language, and high-level language. These are the three classifications. In low-level language, again, we have machine language and assembly language. So machine language in the sense it can be directly understandable by the machine, and which is made up of with binary symbols, that is zeros and ones. That is the machine code or machine language. And assembly language, it is made up of with some assembly codes. There may be some codes. For example, for addition, add is a code. For subtraction, sub is a code. For division, div is a code. For addition, add is a code. For subtraction, sub is a code. Like that, for multiplication, mul. For division, div. Like that, we have some codes. So based on the um, architecture of the language, these codes may vary about 250 to 500, 400 to 500, like that. These codes will be there like this. So this is called the assembly language. And next, if you come to middle level language, C is one of the best example for the middle level language, which includes um, features of the high level language as well as the low level language. So C is the best example for middle level language. And then high level language. High level language means which the language which is readable by the human, that is called the high level language in general. So for the programmers, writing programs using low level languages is very difficult. Because of that, generally we use either high level languages or middle level languages for the programming purpose. Because human can write programs very easily by using high level languages or middle level languages, and even we can solve the problems, we can solve the errors also while writing programs very easily with the help of high level languages and middle level languages. So writing coding with low level language is very difficult and even error prone also, because even in place of 1, if you place 0, the entire meaning of the word will change. So that is the difficulty in writing low level languages or programs in low level language. Then you can ask, so why we need low level language when it is difficult? Why can't we use only high level language? Why these many languages? The classification of the language like this, you can ask. Yes, that is valid question. Because computers can understand only machine level languages. They cannot understand high level languages or middle level languages, because in computer the circuitry will be there. That circuitry can understand 0 and 1. When switch is on, that state is called 1. When switch is off, that state is called 0. The computer circuitry, memory circuitry will be manufactured like that. So because of that, this computer hardware can understand only machine language. So we cannot avoid the machine language. But at the same time, we cannot code with the binary machine language. So we can code, but it's very difficult. Because of that, for our convenience, for programmer convenience, we use high level languages and middle level languages. Example for high level languages: COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, C, C Sharp, Python, Prolog, Java. Many are there like that. So many are there. So these are the high level languages. High level, middle level, and low level. Different levels of languages are available here. And then next, when we suppose machines are unable to understand high level language, suppose write a we wrote a program in high level language, how machines can understand? For that purpose, we have a translators. So we discussed that programmer can write programs efficiently by using high level language. When programmer written a program by using high level language, machine cannot understand. So to make the machine understand this high level program, we need translators. For example, if any politician comes from Delhi for a public meeting in Hyderabad or in some local area where people don't know Hindi language, we need a translator. That politician from Delhi, he speaks only in Hindi. He cannot speak other languages, and while he's speaking in Hindi, one translator will translate into local language so that people can understand. In a similar fashion, here also, programmer programs or programmer um, write programs in high-level languages. This translator translates that high-level language programs into machine-level language. So for that purpose, we have three types of translators. First one is a compiler. Second one is interpreters. Third one is assemblers. Based on this translator used in the language, that language is called compiler language or interpreted language or assembler language. Like that, we can call the languages. So what these will do, we will see now. What is compiler, what is interpreter, what is assembler, how they convert or translate high-level language. First one is interpreter. You see, high-level language is given as an input to the interpreter. And this interpreter, compiler, or assembler, these are called a translator, and these translators are nothing but this is also a piece of code or a software. These translators are also softwares. So this software takes high-level language as input and produces machine-level language. First, you see interpreter. Interpreter takes high-level language as input and it generates machine-level language. And if you see the compiler also takes the high-level programming language, high-level language program as input, and it produces low-level programming, low-level language or machine-level language. Even if you take the assembler, the assembler takes the assembly code. Assembly code means the code written by using mnemonics. Mnemonics are some special symbols. So that is not our syllabus here. That's why I'm not going into much details. The code written by using the mnemonics or can say some special symbols. Such type of programs will be given as an input to the assembler, and assembler produces the machine code for that. In the three translators, we can observe that interpreter is generating machine language, compiler is generating machine language code, and assembler also generating machine language code. Then you can ask me a doubt that why we need three types of translators. Why can't we have a single translator? Because three are doing the same work. They are taking high-level language programs and producing machine-level language programs. So here, their working style is different from each other, even though they are producing similar output, but their working style is different. If you see the interpreter produces machine code for each and every line at a time. So it reads a line by line and produces machine level language code line by line. That's how interpreter works. For example, in one program, if there are, for example, it is like this: A equal to 2, B equal to 3, S equal to A plus B. Like that code is there, for example. Interpreter reads first line and then converts it into machine code, and reads second line and then converts it to machine code, reads third line and converts it into machine code. Like that, this interpreter works. If you take compiler works differently when comparing the interpreter, but it also produces low-level language code or machine-level language code only. But in the same case, A equal to 2, B equal to 3, S equal to A plus B, in the same case, compiler produces a machine code after reading the entire program, and it converts entire program into machine code at a time. Entire program into machine code at a time. So that is the difference between interpreter and compiler. Interpreter reads line by line and converts each and every line into machine code. And when you come to compiler reads the entire program and it converts entire program into machine code. So that is the difference between a compiler and interpreter. And the next assembler, if you take assembler, it takes input as an assembly code. Assembly code is somewhat different from high-level language code. So assembly codes generally we use in electronic gadgets to design some driver, something like that. In electronic gadgets, we use this assembly code generally. So such a type of assembly code with mnemonics or with some type of symbols, codes will be there in that. So with such a type of codes, we can write a program that is called the assembly code or assembly program. That program will be converted into machine code. That's a different story. So these are the different translators: interpreter, compiler, and assembler. Now, next, algorithm. So far, okay, we understand what is program and what is the language and what are the different types of languages available, classification of the language, and what is a program. Program is nothing but the sequence of instructions to accomplish a task or tasks, that is called the program. And programming language, so to instruct the program or to communicate to instruct the computer or to communicate with the computer, we need a language. That language is called the programming language. That's fine. But where this programming language is useful for us? What is the exact location for the programming language of while developing the programs? Now we will see that. Suppose, for example, we have a problem. So problem is there. In that problem, for that problem, we may have different solutions because so if you give a problem to 100 members, 100 members may give 100 solutions. So based on their thinking capacity and the tools they have and the knowledge they have, based on that they can give different solutions. Each and every person it's a possibility is there. So by taking all those solutions, by analyzing them, we will select one solution. For example, to say A3 is the best solution for the problem given problem. A3 is the best solution. There are A1 to n number of solutions for the problem, and among those n number of solutions, we are selecting A3 because A3 is the best solution. So even though there are hundreds of solutions for a problem, there will be only one best solution. So we will select that best solution. So that solution now, that solution is also called an algorithm. That solution is also called an algorithm. Algorithm is nothing but a step-by-step procedure or a formula used for solving a problem. Algorithm is nothing but a step-by-step procedure or a formula used for solving a problem. So by taking a problem, we generate algorithm or a solution for that problem. Solutions may be n number of solutions. Among those n number of solutions, we will select a best solution. So far, we have the solution. Problem is there. Solution, best solution is also there. So this solution is not in the form of understanding by the computer. So it is human readable format now. This solution has to be converted into program now. After finding the solution, we need to convert that solution into program because we are going to execute that program on computer to get the results. You can ask me now. Problem is there, solution is also there, and we are having a best solution in our hand. Then what is the requirement of the computer and what is the need of programming language? Yes, this is a nice step. I will explain you now. Here, the solution in the sense, it is not the problem specific solution. It is a generalized solution. Or I said that it is a formula. In formula, what will be there? Placeholders will be there in the formula. Means we don't know exact values what we are going to pass. In such cases, even in general mathematics, in 10th class or 9th class mathematics, in such cases, what we assume, whenever we don't know the quantity exactly what is the quantity to take, in such a cases, we will assume x. Let assume x be so and so. Like that, we will assume. And then we will continue in that formula. Finally, we find the answer for the x is unknown quantity. X is the unknown quantity. In the same way, while devising or finding the algorithm for a particular problem, we find a formula for the problem. So it is not a solution for a particular problem. I will explain the difference between solution for a particular problem. Suppose if I ask you, what is the sum of 2 plus 3? If I ask you, you will tell 5. This is the specific problem with the specific values and the specific answer. If suppose I ask you like this, what is the answer of addition of two numbers? What is the answer of, what is the sum of addition of two numbers? So the sum is depends on the values taking into the consideration. So now we don't know what is the number 1 in this case and what is the number 2 in this case. What I ask you, what is the sum of two numbers? So we don't know number 1, we don't know number 2. But here, what is the sum of 2 and 3? I given specific values to you. So you can add 2 plus 3 and you can say that 5 is the answer. But here in this case, it is not a specific to some particular value. It is a generalized one. That's why we are calling it as a formula. So what is the sum of two numbers, number 1 and number 2? So until unless we have a values for number 1 and number 2, we cannot say the answer for the number 1 plus number 2. So for this, how we can formulate this one? Sum equal to number 1 plus, for example, we will assume these things. So let n1 be the number 1 and n2 be the number 2. Now sum equal to n1 plus n2. We can write like this. This is value specific. This is the formula. Value specific and formula. Sum equal to n1 plus n2. So whatever the values you provide to n1 and n2, based on that, the sum will be calculated. The sum value will be there. So at this situation, at this solution, what we are talking about the algorithm, at this point we have a solution like this. So we generate a formula. So this based on this solution, if you give this solution as a program to the computer can compute sum of any two numbers, whatever the values you provide to n1 and n2. Based on those values, computer can provide a sum of any two numbers within a fraction of seconds. Even a human being can't do in such a fast manner. So that is the advantage of the computer. Here I have taken a very small example, but in real time there may be very huge and complex examples which can be solved by the computers. So for the understanding purpose, I have taken a small sum equal to n1 plus n2 like that. So algorithm is nothing but a generalized procedure, step-by-step procedure, or a formula used for solving a problem. Here, this is the formula for adding two numbers, any two numbers, whatever the value. For example, n1 equal to 5 and n2 equal to 6, sum equal to 11. If n1 equal to 4, n2 equal to 7, then sum equal to 11. So like that, based on n1 and n2 values, by changing the n1 and n2 values, the sum also will be changed. But in this case, it's not possible because we have passed directly values. It is a value specific. It is not value specific. It is a formula. It is a formula. So during developing the algorithm, we develop a formula for a problem. So like that, we can have n number of formulas or n number of algorithms, or those are also called solutions, n number of solutions. Among all n number of solutions, we can pick a best solution. For that also, I'll give an example. The same case you take, if I asked you generate a solution for addition of two numbers. So one person can give like this, sum equal to n1 plus n2. Like this, one person can give. Another person, he can give like this, S equal to N1 minus of minus N2. That is also one of the solution. This is also one of the solution. So now even for a simple problem addition of two numbers, we have two different solutions. Now we can pick any one based on our requirement and execution time. There are some parameters to pick the algorithm, best algorithm. Based on those parameters, we pick the best algorithm. Which one we feel is a better one based on those parameters, that one we will pick. Even for summing two numbers, for adding two numbers, we have two different solutions here. N1 plus N2 is one solution. N1 minus of minus N2 is another solution. So we can go with any one. That is based on the parameters consideration and selecting the best solution. Like that, for a problem, we may have n number of solutions. The solution is also called an algorithm. Algorithm can be defined as a step-by-step procedure or a formula used for solving a problem. And after selecting that solution or algorithm, to convert it as a program, we need a programming language. This is the place of the programming language. Until you develop a solution or algorithm, there is no need of programming language. So first you need to understand the problem, and then you are able to produce the solution in the form of algorithm. After producing the algorithm, then converting that algorithm into program, you need a programming language. That is the right place of the programming language. Why programming language required? That program has to be executed by the computer. If computer has to, if you want a computer to execute your program, computer has to understand that program. Computer has to understand that program in the sense computer need to read instruction by instruction, and it has to decode into its understandable format. For all those things, we need a language with some rules and regulations. That language is called the programming language. That's it. And now I think now it is clear what is the programming language and what is the exact place of the programming language in development of the solution or providing the solution to a problem and all those things. Now you people have some knowledge on programming languages and algorithms and the place of the programming language and all that. Now I'm moving on to the Python introduction. So Python is a widely used general purpose and high level programming language. As we discussed that it is a high level programming language, general purpose in the sense for all types of applications we can use. And it was created by Guido van Rossum in 1991 and further developed by the Python Software Foundation. So Guido van Rossum is the creator of the Python programming language in late 90s. So in 1991, it is the timeline we can see that in late 90s, this Python was conceived. It means implementation started in 1989. Started implementation, and then in 1991, first release was released. That is called Python 0.9. These numbers is called version of the programming language. So it indicates the changes. So initial version is Python 0.9, and then in 1994, second release was released. That is Python 1.0. So there are no major changes in Python 0.9 to 1.0 because only 0.1 change is there. So limited number of functionalities has been changed. And then in October 2000, we get Python 2.0. See here 1.0 to 2.0, there is a almost huge development happened in Python. And this difference 2.0 minus 1.0, one difference is there. Here 0.1 difference is there, but here one difference is there. One difference in the sense there is a huge shift in the development of the programming language. And then in 2008, 3.0 was released. 2.0 to 3.0 directly. Again, huge changes are there in huge developments and changes happened in Python. And 2018 3.7 was released, and currently in now 2022 we are having 3.10. I think currently in the market we are having 3.10. So this is a brief history and evolution of the Python programming language, how it is evolved from late 80s to 2022. Currently 3.10 is available in the market. There are some important points to discuss. So it was designed with an emphasis on code readability. What is code readability? By looking at the program, we must be able to understand the program. The program must be in such a way, self-explanatory, so that people can easily understand it. So that is the readability, code readability. We can easily understand by looking at the code, Python code. So while designing the programming language, Python programming language, they emphasize the designers the Python software foundation who are working on the Python. So they mainly focused on readability. So it is very easy to understand Python programs. By looking at the programs, you can easily grasp what is happening, what the code is going to do like that. So that is the readability of the Python program. And then its syntax allows programmers to express their concepts in fewer lines of code. Another important aspect or a feature of the Python, with fewer lines of code, we can write complex programs. So, for example, we compare with Java and C. For example, in Java, for any program, it takes 100 lines of code, but the same problem solving in Python, it may take around 30 to 40 lines of code. That is the advantage of the Python. With the fewer lines of code, we can provide complex solutions for the complex problems. That is best advantage in Python. Yes, it's happened because of the library functions. We will discuss later what are the libraries and what are the library functions available in this. Okay, and next point is Python is derived from many other languages, including ABC, Modular 3, C, C++, Solver 68, Smalltalk, and Unix shell, and other scripting languages. So Python also developed by inspiring all these languages, and some of the features also. The developers who developed the Python, they inspired from these languages, and they developed they derived many features of these languages into Python. So that was about that. And next, Python is copyrighted like Perl. Python source code is now available under the GNU General Public License. So Python is a free open source code. This is open source in the sense openly available for everybody. Those who want to use the Python, you can download from the python.org. I think it is the official website for the Python. You can browse the python.org and you can download the Python. It is available for everybody. It is open source. Now we'll move on to next slide. Who uses Python? Nowadays, who are using Python in the market? So these are the various companies who are using the Python in market. The first one is Amazon, IBM, Uber, Nokia, Intel, Apple, Facebook, Firefox, Yahoo, Twitter, Microsoft, Spotify, Qualcomm. See, all major and market giants in software industry and in electronics industry are using Python for making their job easy, because with the fewer lines of code, it can generate a complex solutions for the complex problems. That's what most of the major companies are moving towards Python, and they are already using. So, what are the different areas or domains working with Python? See, web development and frameworks, Django, for example. These are the different types of frameworks as well as and domains working with Python. So, in game development, we can also develop games by using Python. So, Python is the best suitable language for big data, and for testing, Selenium testing, where we can use Python. And artificial intelligence and data science is the best language for using artificial intelligence and data science, Python. And smart devices. So all these are the different areas of working areas of Python, where Python can produce better results when comparing with other languages. So these many companies are using these many areas are there for working. And so if you learn Python, your future is secure. So that is the main reason why I included this slide. Your future is secured if you learn Python, because plenty of companies nowadays implementing Python, and there are each and every area or each and every domain implementing using Python. And if you see the salary structures of the Python developer, so it varies between 3 lakhs to 7 lakhs for initial period, first starting year, first year or second year, like that. It varies between 3 to 7 lakhs. Based on experience, you'll also get 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs per annum also. So these are all the initial scales, what I have given here. So for a web developer, it is 3 lakhs, around 3 lakhs. For software engineer, it's around 5 lakhs. For DevOps engineer, it is around 6.5 lakhs. For machine learning, it is around 6.7 lakhs. For data science, it is around 7 lakhs per annum. These are the salaries at initial stage as a fresher. So based on the experience, while gaining the experience, you will get more salaries, even 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs per annum also you will get after 10 years. After 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, you will get 50 lakhs also. So that is possibility is there. So future is secure and best possible salaries in the industry and many domains working. So I think it's the best choice for jobs. And next slide. So far we have learned so many things about Python history. We have learned what are the who using the Python in the market, all those things. Now we will see slowly we'll enter into the Python language. First, initially we'll learn what is the features of Python. Features, there are total around 15 features are there. So I included only very few here. The most and very important and effective features I have included here. It is a high level, simple, open source, GUI programming, large standard library, expressive language, object oriented, and interpreted. These are the different features of the Python. So high level means yes, it is completely high level language. And comparing with the C, C is a middle level language. It includes some high level properties and some low level properties also. But Python is not like that. It is a completely a high level language, fully high level language. High level language, what is the advantage of the high level language? It is mm, very easy for the programmer to for programming. That is the advantage, first advantage. That's the advantage of the high level language. And next, simple. This Python is very simple for learning and even for understanding the Python programs. When comparing with C, C++, Java, Python is very simple and easy for learning because its syntax is moreover similar to just like English sentences. Who knows reading and understanding English? They can easily understand Python. They can very easily learn Python. So that much simple. So it is very simple and open source. I already discussed about it. It's available openly to everybody. You can download from its official website, that is python.org. Anybody can use it. No issues. No need of any purchasing and all those. Next will come that side. Interpreted. We already discussed about this one also. Interpreted in the sense this Python language use interpreter because we write a programs, Python programs by using high level languages. Those high level language programs cannot understand by the machine or a computer. To make computer understand the Python program, this Python language use interpreter. So because of that, a translator. Already we discussed the three different types of translators in that interpreter. This Python uses interpreter for converting this high level code into machine level code. So that's why it is called interpreted. And then object oriented. Object oriented means in programming or for developing programming, we have different types of paradigms. We have different types of paradigms. One is procedure oriented paradigm. Procedure oriented. Second one is object oriented. These two types of paradigms are there. Procedure oriented paradigm and object oriented paradigm. Two paradigms are there. Paradigm is nothing but it is a way or a procedure of it is a way of doing program. A methodology of programming is called the paradigm. Methodology of programming. How we can implement a program, in what way we can provide a solution. A methodology of a program is called the paradigm. We have two important paradigms and major paradigms. There is a procedure oriented, second one is object oriented. So when compared with procedure oriented, object oriented is very, very advantageous because of by following this manner or object oriented way of programming, we can implement very huge or complex projects in a simple manner. So even projects can extend its functionality. So that facility is there in object oriented, and development becomes very easy in object oriented, and the projects can extend even after completion of the projects. If there are any additional features, we can accommodate all those additional changes very easily into the project. That is the advantage of the object oriented. As of now, this is enough because it is a little bit confusing. Object oriented, procedure oriented, all those things as of now, because you are new to computer knowledge. So as of now, this is enough. Object oriented paradigm means it is a methodology of programming. It's the best one to use for developing the programs. So Python follows that methodology, the best methodology for programming purpose. Python follows the best methodology. In procedure oriented also have best methodology, but when compared with procedure oriented, object oriented is having more advantages in extensibility, in adding additional functionality, all those things. Object oriented programming is having more possibility, more advantages. So in this object oriented, entire project is divided into objects, and then we make a communication among those objects. To first we in this object oriented programming, first we identify the basic building blocks to accomplish a project. So those basic building blocks are called objects, and by making the communication among all those objects, we can make it as a project, single project. So that is the way how we can develop a programs by using object oriented. I am not going into more detail because this is not the right time. And next, expressive language. What is the meaning of expressive language? So with very fewer lines of code, we can achieve complex tasks by using Python. That is the expressive language means. So with even one or two lines of code, we can get a very, very good results when comparing with C and Java. For example, if C and Java, it takes 10 lines of code for a program. In Python, you can achieve it in one or two lines. That is the more expressive in the sense. And then large standard library. This expressiveness of the language comes from the large standard library. Generally, what is the meaning of library? Generally, library in the sense it is a collection of, for example, if you take a book library, it is a collection of books. So different types of books available. Whatever the books we want, we get that book from the library and we can study. So similarly, here library in the sense, so for development, whatever the common functionalities are required, all those functionalities, commonly used functionalities, all those functionalities are developed by the Python Foundation team along with the Python language, and they provide it as a library for us. We can use those functions from that library. That is the advantage of the library. There are a huge number of library functions. That is the meaning of large standard library means there are a huge number of functions in the library, predefined functions. Those functions we can use for our programming purpose. For example, print is one function is available in Python for printing, for output the values, whether string or numbers, whatever you want to print, you can print by using the print. Square root function is there to find the square root. So like that, many functions are available, predefined functions are available. We can use all those predefined functions in our programming language. So it's a very large standard library support is there for Python. Because of that large standard library support, this Python becomes expressive language. And GUI programming, graphical user interface programming. This also helps while developing graphical user interfaces. It means front end development and graphical user interfaces development for that purpose. It is also useful, and these are the different features of the Python, very very important features of the Python. So for a very detailed explanation for all these features, the day by day, you will understand each and every feature with examples, so that you will get a better picture. Right now, we cannot get a better picture on everything because you are just experiencing the what is Python language and you are started learning now. Because of that, there may be some doubts and all those things. So don't get confused. Whatever you are able to understand, you understand slowly, day by day. Everything will be your control. And next, working with Python. How to work with Python? So there are two modes in working with Python. First one is interactive mode, and second one is a script mode. Interactive mode and a script mode. Two modes are there. In interactive mode, uh, this interactive mode is also called REPL, REPL mode. In the sense, R means read, E means evaluate, P means print, L means loop. Read, eval, print, and loop. So this interactive mode, you can execute programs at command prompt, and you can read the values, you can evaluate the expressions, you can print the output, you can loop. Loop means executing the same set of instructions multiple times, predefined number of times. That is looping. You can loop, you can print, you can evaluate expressions, you can read. Reading means taking input, printing means giving output. Evaluating the expressions, and looping. All these things you can do at a command prompt. So that is why it is called triple mode, interactive and also interactive mode. So this interactive mode is very very useful for the learners, because to test all the Python commands, small commands, immediately you can see the result. Just typing the command and pressing enter, then immediately you will see the result. So just for practicing Python commands for the learners, for the beginners, this interactive mode or REPL mode is very very useful. To access the Python shell, so I told that it's a command prompt. How to access the Python shell, open the terminal of your computer operating system and then type Python at a command prompt. So just generally, I think you know how to open the command prompt of your system. Just open the command prompt at a command prompt, but just type Python and press enter. If Python is installed in your system, it displays like this. So Python version in my system, Python 3.5 is 0. See, this is your system's command prompt. See Windows System 32 like that. So after opening the command prompt, you should type Python. It displays. If Python is installed in your system, it displays the information regarding the Python. And it also displays some commands: help, copyright, credits, license. Just for practicing purpose, they have given like this. If Python is there and three consecutive greater than symbols also displays. It means now Python interpreter is ready for accepting input for producing the output based on whatever the instructions you are providing. So now Python is ready for accepting the instructions, Python instructions. That is the meaning of these three consecutive, what we can say, greater than symbols. So it indicates that a Python shell is ready to execute and send commands to the Python interpreter. That is the meaning of this. If Python is installed, then only it comes. If Python is not installed, it won't show anything. It shows some error messages like that. See here, the first example at this place. So I'm typing like print hello world. If this print hello world prints immediately result hello world. This print is the function in Python to provide the output or to print any message, any string or number on the screen on console. So print function we use. Here in the print function, I'm passing hello world and it is printing hello world. So very simple for executing. Just enter the command and press enter. Automatically it displays the result. Here the result is hello world. And next I press enter 10 and it displays 10. And I enter print 5 into 20 and it is displaying 100. It means this is an expression 5 into 20 and it calculates, it multiplies and producing the result. So that's why it is called REPL mode, REPL. It's read, eval, print, and loop. All are there. Here it's reading, it's printing, it's evaluating the expression, and again it is printing, looping. So here I'm giving high because it is a string, that's what I'm giving in double quotes. Numbers you can give directly, no issue. So high into 5. It means I'm saying to the interpreter, print high 5 times. So the same state, the same thing, the same string high is printing 5 times here, repeatedly. That is nothing but looping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what REPL mode means. At the command prompt, we can read, you can evaluate, you can print, you can loop, all these things. A small piece of code you can execute here. So see another example. I'm taking another example. Not only single statements, you can also execute multiple statements or a block of code, Python code at a REPL mode or command prompt mode. Now here, name is a variable. I'm taking name equal to Nicholas and age equal to 26, course equal to computer science. These three are the variables. First variable is name. Variable in the sense it is a placeholder which can use it to store the value in memory. So name equal to Nicholas. It's the variable name and the value stored in that name variable is Nicholas. Age equal to 26. Age is the variable and 26 the value stored in that age. Course is the variable and computer science is the value stored in that course. So these are the three variables and three different data are stored in this variables. Now I am printing by using the print method of Python. Print my name is the string. Whatever you mentioned in the double quotes, that as it is printed on the console. So my name plus you are concatenating your name to this string plus name again plus comma aged again double quotes aged plus I'm converting because this print here it prints it is printing as a string. That's what I'm converting number into string. This is the function to convert number into string plus taking course. All these things I'm printing as a string. Now after entering this command and press enter in our computer keyboard, and then it displays the following output. My name is Nicholas, age 26, taking computer science like that. It displays. So very simple programs, simple commands, simple block of code. You can practice at a tuple mode or command prompt. Okay, this is one type of one method of working with the Python. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of interactive mode? If you see, advantages definitely it is very fast because after entering enter button, after pressing enter button, immediately it shows the output. That is definitely an advantage. And another advantage for practicing for the beginners, it is very useful. Um, and whenever there are very short and simple programs, block of codes, or one line or two line instructions, you can execute and you can get the answers immediately at the command prompt itself. Okay, that is the advantage. These are the advantages. If you see disadvantages, the disadvantage is editing is very difficult. At a command prompt, if you want to edit the already typed command, so you have to go back to a particular place and you have to change the command and again execute. Or otherwise you need to retype the command correctly again. So that is one of the problem. And running a long piece of code or a big block of code at a command prompt is difficult. So these are the pros and cons of interactive mode. And next another mode is script mode. What is the script mode and how we can execute the programs in script mode? If you see, so in this script mode, we use an editor, a separate editor. That editor may be a generally what we can say, Notepad. You can use Notepad. You can use Notepad plus plus. You can use Atom. You can use Sublime. Like that, you can use any notepads, any type of editors. In those editors, you can type the program, and then we need to save the program as .py extension, file name .py extension. Generally, if you see every programming language has its own extension. If you take C, file name .c, file name in the sense we have to provide a name, meaningful name, which represents the program inside that file. Like that, we have to give the names, meaningful name, .c for C, .cpp for C++, .java for Java, for Python .py. So why we have to give like this extensions in the sense? It's very simple reason. How human beings are having a names, uh, names and what we can say that initial. So with the initial and name, the combination of both the things we can identify a person uniquely. The combination of both initial and or otherwise what we can say with the combination of surname and first name, we can identify a person very easily. In the similar fashion, in a computer, if there are many languages, for example, there may be a C, C++, Java, Python, like that many languages might be installed. So when you are executing these programs, there may be some task for operating system, in execution while executing. So operating system has to invoke compilers or interpreters and all those things, and there may be some work by the operating system also. So for operating system, it is very helpful to identify proper compilers and proper interpreters and all those things. Because of that purpose, we provide now these extensions to the programs. So that is one reason. Another reason, maybe sometimes in your you are using a C programming language in your system, and you may save a program as addition.c addition with the name addition, and the same program if you done in Python, if you're trying to save as addition, then it is a problem. So that is also one of the reason. For each and every language maintaining its own extension. Based on the extension, they can differ. Even though names the same, file names the same, no problem. Because of the extension is different. From language to language, the program can easily identify it in a simple manner with the extension by the interpreter or by the compiler, by the operating system, and how it is required. So that is the major reason why these extensions are used while storing the files. So whatever the text in this text file, after writing your program and storing this text file with name.py, this text file is called source code. This one is called source code or source file. Okay. After creating a text file or a source file, you can run that source file in two different ways. I'll show you. See, this is an example. In a text editor, I type like this: print hello world. Again, I'm using a simple example here. Print hello world. Right? And then I saved it as a hello.py. I saved it. This is the text editor I'm using for typing. Hello.py. Saving it as a hello.py. For executing this, after press run, and there is a run module, a menu item in this menu, and by pressing that menu item, this program will be executed by the Python and produces the result like this. So this is how you can run by using run and run module in the editor itself. So there is another way. Without using editor for executing the programs, you can write programs in editors and you can save, and then go to command prompt. At the command prompt, you can type a Python space program name dot extension. So now it also prints like this. In these two ways, you can execute the Python programs. One is directly executing in the editor itself. We have a run menu. In the run menu, we have a run module command, and by clicking on the run module, this will produce the output. Compilation and translation happen and execution happen, and then output will be produced. Another way is at command prompt, you can also execute the same program, Python space program name.py and hello world, and press enter, then it produces the hello world. So these are the two modes of Python working modes. One is interactive mode, and another one is script mode. In these two modes, we can work with the Python. Interactive mode is for just practicing the commands, whatever the commands available in Python for practicing purpose. For beginners, it's very useful. You can see immediately output, no need of editors, no need of typing in the editor, some saving with the extension, and again going to command prompt and typing Python. All these things are not required. Immediately, just like interacting with other person, how you interact with other person directly. In a similar fashion, you can interact directly with the command prompt. You can provide a commands, Python commands, and you can get immediately results. That's why it is called interactive mode. Okay, and now another one is script mode. Script mode in the sense you need an editor, and that editor you have to type all the program, whatever the program you require, and you have to save that program with .py extension, and then you need to execute it by using editor run or run module. You can by using editor run and run module, or you can execute it at command prompt by using a Python and file name with extension. So these are the different modes of working with Python. And if you see pros and cons of a script mode, advantage of running code in a script mode, it is easy to run large piece of code. So here it is very, very advantageous for practicing. Okay, so interactive mode is very, very useful for, but for doing huge programs or large programs, script mode is required. Script mode is advantageous because sometimes we may type wrongly programs, so we can edit our programs very easily in editors. So that is possible in editors only. So it is easy to run large piece of code. Editing your script is easier in script mode, good for both beginners and experts. So even beginners also can use this. And next, disadvantage of using the script mode. For small one line or two lines of codes, you cannot go for the script mode because you need a lot of things you have to do for this. Instead of that, you can directly execute it command prompt. So that is one of the disadvantages. You must create and save a file before executing your code. Yeah, that is required. Even for the small tasks, it is not necessary for it's not necessary creating a file and saving that file and executing all those things. You can directly in normal mode or in interactive mode, you can directly execute the program, small snippets, code snippets. For in such cases, it is not that much advantageous. But for big programs, huge programs, generally for doing the programs, script mode is very, very useful. So this is about the different working modes in Python. And if you see Python installation, so far we have discussed theoretically what is Python, what is programming language, what are the different classifications in the programming language, and translators, then Python features, all those things. Now execution modes also we have seen. Now installation part comes. For installation, you need to download the Python installer. This is the official website of Python, https www.python.org downloads. So at this, type this URL in Chrome, and then you will get that site will be open. Then download the required installer based on your system architecture, and then execute it.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.